Ayo, smello. What up, digital me, virtual me, future me? This is the thought I want to put up while I'm thinking the thought and having a thought. Oh my God, look at this. Okay, this isn't the thought, but look at that ass. They match, the colors match, like disturbingly close kind of match. Boxers, shirt. Anyway. I think it was Teddy Roosevelt that was the president that was the famous trust buster. Like they got like political editorial cartoons or something, and he's like, you could like Google it or something. He's got that famous one, like I don't know, like he's got a fat belly or something, like, and he's got a hammer or some shit. And it's like Teddy Roosevelt, and he's like busting the trusts, and like there was like the steel trust and the railroad trust, and I think there was another one, and like the banking trust. Yeah, I think it was the banking, steel, and railroad trust. I think those were the three ones. But yeah, I think that's pretty close to what we got, because I think we got, I think it's banking, financial stuff. Might not be banks per se, but financial probably pretty close. I just watched a video on how we got meat, basically meat processing plants are trusts. They're monopolies. And healthcare is in large form a monopoly in one way or another, because they suffer from vertical integration and all that stuff. So we shouldn't have insurance companies, but in order to nationalize the system, well, we should go direct to nationalization, but it'd be easier to do it if you bust up the companies first, because then they wouldn't have as much money to lobby against the Nationalization Act. But if you didn't have cowards in Congress and a president who was a stooge, you could just go direct to nationalization of all of the administration of the insurance companies themselves and most of the pharma industry, most of the medical tech research companies, and a lot of the pharmacists. Basically 80% nationalization of the medical industry. %80 overall. And a lot of the Democrats speak about like expanding Medicare, and I'm like, no, screw expanding Medicare. I don't want to expand Medicare. I want to stomp out private insurance for the most part. I want to make private insurance only for people who are so extravagantly wealthy that it would be like for I'm going to give examples that probably aren't even relevant, but So it'd be like private insurance. Private insurance would be for things that are like if you want, like you're rich and you were born rich, and you would just be on private insurance from birth, and you'd be on private insurance, and then by the time you're 40 or whatever, you could get a boob job. And this is uh, other Americans, other women could get a boob job if they had like cancer and they got a double mastectomy. That would be covered because we covered that if you get a double mastectomy. This would just be if you're rich and you have private insurance, you could just get a boob job because you're like, my boobs are saggy and I don't like the way they look. Well, it's not medically necessary. You just want nicer boobs and you have private insurance. It's non-medically necessary stuff. That's what private insurance would cover you for. Stuff that is blatantly non-medically necessary. It's kind of the medical version of my food stamps for all, SNAP for all. It's like, it's like, yeah, everybody can grab from the produce section. It's like, go nuts. Everybody gets $250 in SNAP benefits. You just get it. We don't care. And you don't even, you apply for it once and it's on a national card and there. And it's like an additional subsidy for farmers that everybody gets. So it's like an additional way to subsidize American farmers because now they have a way to sell all their crap to local groceries and stuff. And you can definitely use it at the grocery store, buying certain stuff for sure. Another train's going by. Medical equivalent of that, but currently you can use SNAP for basically everything in the store. I'm just saying. And I don't want to change that program because I need it. Personally, I need it. And I only buy food with that. I used to occasionally buy, I would occasionally buy some ice cream. Some ice cream and some milk and I had chocolate sauce. It came with the apartment. Yeah. There was a thing of chocolate sauce that came with the apartment, some Hershey's chocolate sauce. That was kind of messed up that came with the apartment, but it was still good. But yeah, I'd occasionally buy some ice cream and some milk, and I'd make myself some milkshakes. It was once every 3-4 months, but it was a nice treat. But being poor, you can only do that once every little while. But it's nice to have a treat every once in a while. So makes you feel like a normal person. And with, because I have SNAP and I have this United Healthcare card, which is sort of restricted. Produce and meat and some processed food, like some frozen food, like I can buy frozen lasagna and frozen stuffed pepper and like frozen TV dinners, canned goods and stuff. But can't buy soda and chips, and so there's restrictions on that. I get that through the United Healthcare company. It's $100. So there's a difference between that, and I can only spend it at Walmart or Kroger's. I haven't tried Kroger's, but so there's a difference with that. Yeah, kind of. Now I forgot where I started with this video. Anyways, the point being that when I was having both of those and able to use them in Arkansas, I was pretty good on food. I had like 100 and some in SNAP benefits, and at that time in Arkansas, I had 185 on United Healthcare. Now I only got 100 on United Healthcare. So combined, I had like 370-ish dollars just to spend on food. So I was doing good. And I spent it on food. And I had enough to like every month buy myself like some cookies. So that was nice. It's nice. It's nice when you're poor to be able to every month have a treat. The Republicans love to have this trope out there of welfare queens and people on disability and all of these things of the moochers out there and the bad people, taking your money and being layabouts and stuff. And I am a bum. I'm well aware of that, and I embrace my bumliness. But I take care of my shit. I pay my bills all the time. I spend my money on what I'm supposed to spend my money on, and I smoke right now, but that's because I got nothing to live for. I'm just waiting to die. So, whatever. Well, I got something else that I'm trying to do, but, that's kind of slow going. So we're kind of burning it on both ends, and whatever happens first, baby. But yeah, this idea that poor people are just, we're just getting like $10,000 every month, man, and we're just sitting here living large, and everybody that's working their ass to the bones, just paying for these people on welfare to just, live the life. That is just so absolutely not the case. If you want to see what life for these people is like, Um, and I'm sure you can find out. Um, go and try. Let me think. Go and try to buy some heroin or some meth. If you're not a user of heroin or meth, just go and try to buy some from someone and be like, let's go to your crib and do it together. Now you don't have to do it together, but just ask to do it. Take a field trip. And, um, unless they're the person that's dealing large, which, I don't know. Are you trying to buy 10K worth of meth? I'm not suggesting you should try to buy 10K worth of meth or heroin, not a brick. Because you might get fucking pulled into some shit. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna do, a little bit of dope, and you see where they live, not even just their apartment, but where they live, that area, it's like, yeah, okay. Because most of those people aren't doing drugs either. They're just trying to work. They're just trying to get their shit done. And, yep. That dope fiend, that'll lead you to where everybody's living large on welfare. Of course, if you're gonna do that, you might just want to stay strapped. I'm just letting you know. Might want to, bring a 9mm. I don't suggest it. I'm just saying. I've been to a couple of those neighborhoods. Not looking for dope, just looking for some. Well, my dad called it dope. It was weed. You're smoking dope in the garage with your friends. Dope. It was weed. Smoking weed. Dope. You're so old, Dad. But yeah. Smoking some dope. But yeah, like I said, this is what's being poor is. Look at all those posters on my wall. All that stuff that I have in my house. The last fire really, trimmed my shit down. Every move I've done in my life has taken a significant percentage of my shit away from me. Like a good 15 to 20% chop off of my stuff. And then that last fire was like, yeah, we're gonna do 90%. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Okay. So, what was this about? The healthcare? Oh, it was about trust busting. Trust busting, to bust the trusts in order to nationalize healthcare. I have to like remember so that I can try to think of a title. Towley, boobs out.